Right now, for anybody listening, if you're getting offered anything more than 5.875% on a VA loan, and I'm talking about no buy down, no anything like that, then you need to be looking around.
Last week was the busiest week that I've had in almost 2.5 years.
Good for you, man.
So I think that's a sign we've been picking up.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some really, really good listings that are going to be hitting the market. I got one listing that you and I are going to be holding open in about 2 weeks together.
I would like to stop and relay this message. If you're listening right now and you're considering buying a new construction, do not walk in there without your realtor. They are not representing both sides. They are not fighting to get everything that you can possibly get when it comes to upgrades. When you walk in, you want representation on your side. So don't just go in and peek. Just if you're interested, call your realtor. Doesn't affect me at all, but I'm telling you, it will affect you to roll in there without representation.
All right, man. Legacy Lounge. Sometimes people want to talk.
We have incredible guests here.
What's up, brother?
The definition of the Legacy Lounge is the stuff that he's putting together. He's a great community leader. His story is amazing.
All right, we got Rene Jacques in the building. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, man.
You're wearing a shirt right now. If step aside, I want to see the mic is kind of covering it, but it says brokers are better.
Oh man, I'm always happy to hear it because people was like, man, what does that mean, man? But it's real out there. If you walk into a random direct lender right now, they're giving you rates and costs that just aren't necessary. So I'm here to spread the word because brokers are better.
I love it. And this is something that I found out many years ago, even before I even knew you, is that it's kind of the analogy of you can walk into one place, we'll call it a bank, and you're basically getting their product.
Yep.
Right? What's it like when a client gets to talk to you or come to you? What's the difference? Because you basically, it's not like walking into a bank, correct?
Correct. We're actually approved with more than 30 banks in our office. And then we get advertisement from banks trying to get our business as well for us to send our customers over to them. Even more than that, every single day. We choose to work with the ones that we know are going to do a great job on behalf of clients. So we stick to that. But if I wanted to get the best interest rate for my friends and family, it wouldn't be the same place every single time. So as the market shifts, you want to have the flexibility shift with it, and that's how clients win.
That's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned friends and family, which reminds me of a recent referral that I gave you of one of my most long-standing friends, known him for over 20 years, Jeremy. Shout out to my guy.
Yes.
He's got ownership in a local restaurant, Jack's Urban Eats.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's working on, I think they're about to open up their like 10th or 11th location.
Incredible.
I mean, they have got it down to a science. I actually worked at Jack's Urban Eats.
Did he hire you?
He hired me.
What?
Yeah. It was technically
I think I knew
Paisanos.
that. I think I knew that.
Yeah, I was working at Paisanos, and then I ended up getting a job at Jack's. But him and his partner are getting ready to buy a house.
Yeah.
They sold their property. They got a rental, which is something we've been seeing a lot more and more lately, is people just doing like a reset, right?
Yeah.
Cashing out on their product. And for what they're doing, I am a fan of, and this is why. Because you don't feel rushed.
Yeah.
You get to have a reset. Now, the tricky part is, especially with little kids, is it's not fun moving 2 times in a year and a half period.
Yep.
But buying a piece of property is such a huge investment. For most people, it's the biggest investment they'll make. So they're able to, do it the right way, which is not feeling pressure. So I'm excited that you just got my good buddy fully pre-approved, and you told me and you told him that you're giving them the friends and family hookup.
That's correct, man. More than happy to do it. Anybody that steps out on the ledge and hires you from the beginning, I gotta give the love back. But you know what? You said it right, man. To try to line those things up, selling a house and finding the right one, sometimes you just got to pick whatever is available. I am a fan of the way that they did it. And it's extremely hard to time the market right. But we've seen how much opportunity is going on right now. It feels like they might have been the exact perfect execution of timing
Yeah.
before this market goes back up. So I'm extremely excited for them.
Yeah. You know, it's when I walk into a house and I'm meeting with sellers, and I've had, I think, 3 listing appointments in the past 10 days, really starting to heat up right now. My phone's ringing, and you have somebody that is thinking about doing a purchase,
Mhm.
but they have to sell their house
Yeah,
first. It can get a little tricky,
for sure.
and it's always a win if we can have you do the legwork
Mhm.
and find out, are there any ways around it? You know,
Correct.
can we potentially rent the house out? Or I think, some people are surprised when you do pull everything back and you run their credit and you do a deep analysis, that they could actually be able to purchase another property non-contingent, which takes a lot of the stress out of it. I'm closing
Big time.
escrow tomorrow with a friend that was able to purchase a property and not have to sell his current property,
Mhm.
has 2 small kids, and I mean, what's your take on that? I mean, if you can pull it
Man,
off.
it's ideal. And some people go in and they think they don't have a shot. There's some ways to get around it, and sometimes people just don't know what the numbers look like. So you should always look into it. Does it work every time? Of course not. But um, more times than you would think, people come in and are pleasantly surprised. Man, we can make this purchase and we can structure it a certain way that even if we sell the house later, that we don't have to like refinance again or and everything. There's a way to do it correctly. So it's ideal to go that way. You don't have to be pressured into that next place and find the right one for you and your family.
Yep, big stuff. You and I were talking about our love for veterans, man.
Mm,
Thank you to all of the vets out there that serve this amazing country. And you brought something to my attention that I was unaware of, because
man.
you know y- you're somebody. One of the things that I like about you, my guy, is that you're just like a fact checker. You know
Yep,
what I mean?
for sure.
And
Truth seeker.
you're not like, I'm highly emotional. You know what I mean? I'm
Hmm.
just like, I just get brushed away in the emotions, whether we're talking sports or real estate or whatever. And you're just like, prove it to me.
Yeah,
You're a black and white guy. You and I are polar opposites.
yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the VA stuff that we were chatting about.
Man, and I sat up in my seat because of it, because you know what? It is wild to me. Now that I'm the owner of the company and I can see raw pricing and see how companies are structured and what they make on the back end, it's just wild that now the curtain is peeled back for me. Just had a VA client reach out and they had a quote from another VA lender. Right now, for anybody listening, if you're getting offered anything more than 5.875% on a VA loan, and I'm talking about no buy down, no anything like that, then you need to be looking around. When this client came in, they had a pre approval letter and a fee sheet, which was done just a couple days before, and it was a 6.5% interest rate with a slight amount of origination on it. And because we were within days of seeing the pricing, it brought back to my mind how much they have taken advantage of what's out there. Let me peel this curtain back further. Conventional financing, everybody sees the rates marketed all over the place on the internet, everything like that. And they're mid sixes right now, 6.5, 6.625. The biggest and baddest VA lenders across the country, a few of them have chosen to offer the same rates similar to conventional financing when VA rates are supposed to be a half or 0.625% lower than conventional financing. So, again, going back to the fact that now I can see raw pricing. And if I chose to structure my company like some of the biggest, baddest VA lenders across the country and sell a 6.5% interest rate, me and my company would be making somewhere between 4.5 to 5.5% on the back from the
Oh
bank.
my word.
I'm gonna pause on that. Just think about that, you guys. If I was making 4 to 5% on loans, I I couldn't even sleep at night trying to give that to a veteran. And we're talking about the ones you see advertising all day, every day about we love veterans.
They love money is what I'm hearing.
They love money.
That's wild. So
Crazy.
I just think it's important for all the VAs listening out there. If you're a veteran, if you know somebody that's a veteran, because we talked about it time and time again, they're the best loans out there.
By far.
I mean, you get no money down.
Yep.
I love that. Now, I want to clarify, if you can maybe just, I need you to clarify this, but can a VA buy a duplex
Yes.
and just live in one of the units?
Yes.
I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, that you can potentially buy a duplex with 0% down,
Yep.
but regardless, 0% down, no mortgage insurance,
Correct.
and the interest rates are generally speaking a 0.5 to 0.75% lower than the going conventional rate.
100% correct.
So if you're a veteran, take advantage of that, number one. But number two, be very cautious of what you're receiving in the mail or watching on TV from some of these big name companies. Might be an advantage to you to speak to a broker,
That's correct. Brokers sell wholesale rates.
and brokers are better.
Brokers are better.
Let's go. Well, right now, just a little snapshot. I know that you and I talk frequently, but it's wild, man. I had mentioned this the other week that last week was the busiest week that I've had in almost 2.5 years.
Good for you, man.
So I think that's a sign. I mean, we've been picking up.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some really, really good listings that are going to be hitting the market. I got one listing that you and I are going to be holding open in about 2 weeks together. And it's right across the street from Roosevelt Park, downtown Sacramento, 9th and Q Street, blocks away from the Golden One Center. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, just under 1,300 square feet, fully remodeled for $549.
Man, that's wild.
Is this a good price?
It is. It is. And hold the presses. Hold the presses. Is Chris Azon and Rene Jacques actually doing open houses? We're out there with the people, for the people.
Man,
back doing what we used to do all the time.
And the fact that you just announced it like that, I'm going to have you step your game up. What are we bringing to this open house? Because when you and I were doing open houses, we had the sinks stocked with champagne and beer and water and giving out cupcakes. I mean, are we going to keep it simple? Are we going to go back to OG ways?
Man, that's a great question. I feel like we shouldn't half-ass anything, and we got to get back to it, man.
I think you should maybe get some like autographed sports memorabilia from like Lexi, and then you can like hand these out to guests as they come in.
Amazing, amazing. That's a great listing, and I can't wait to do it. But you have multiple, right?
Yeah, and like to your point on open houses, I did some open houses a couple weeks ago, and I mean, you're talking on a Saturday and Sunday, there was approximately 90 groups of people. So I think people have officially made peace with the fact that this is where we're at. You know, rates are kind of where they're at. It's not as bad as you think. And what's the alternative? You know, I got a haircut this morning, and my barber, her name is Melissa. She's awesome. Shout out Melissa Bravo. And I was telling her that I'm closing escrow on Tuesday for a past client. I helped her buy her property 14 years ago. She bought that property for right around, I think, like $120,000, $130,000. We're going to be closing escrow at a purchase price of $450,000. And for many people living in this country, without real estate, they're not able to build wealth.
Correct.
At least at these amounts. So I think people are making peace with the fact that this is kind of where we're at. But yeah, the phone's been ringing. I have another listing coming up. It's a big property in West Sacramento, less than a mile from the Nugget Target grocery store. It's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, about 2,600 square feet, updated, beautiful property that we're going to be listing for $749,000. Also have a property in Oak Park that I think is going to be a steal for somebody, because we're talking about a list price about $429,000. These are just properties that are entryway for somebody that wants to keep their payments as low as humanly possible.
Are these people who are listing their house, do they need to move? Are they buying? Are they upgrading? Tell me what the motivation for the sellers are going through right now.
So it's a good question. For one of them, it was I just had 2 kids
Mm-hmm.
and I can't live in a townhouse any longer.
That's right.
Right? Got to spread my wings and need to do a move up purchase.
Mhm.
The other one brings me to an interesting topic that you and I have been talking a lot about, and that is they ended up buying a new construction property.
Mhm.
Now, I was a little bitter because they didn't use me to buy that new construction property, but it wasn't their fault. I think that there's this mindset when people are out and about driving their cars, out and about in the community, and they see those new construction signs, new builds, model homes. The first thought is, I don't need to contact my realtor to see one of those. And technically, they don't, right? But I've been preaching to a lot of clients that having a realtor represent you on a new construction property can save you thousands of dollars.
100%.
It can save a lot of headaches. And my total count, I want to say over the last 6 months is I'm now up to around 6 past clients that have purchased new construction properties without me. And the good news is they are calling me to list their existing home,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is something that I'm very blessed. But I think it's also just a lack of me sending that message out and letting my clients know that I could be going up to bat with them. So
Big time. And I would like to stop and relay this message. If you're listening right now and you're considering buying a new construction, do not walk in there without your realtor. They are not representing both sides. They are not fighting to get everything that you can possibly get when it comes to upgrades. When you walk in, you want representation on your side. So don't just go in and peek. Just if you're interested, call your realtor. Doesn't affect me at all, but I'm telling you, it will affect you to roll in there without representation.
yeah, I mean, if I'm selling your house, I have a obligation to get you the most amount of money as
Yep.
humanly possible. I'm working for you, the seller.
Correct.
Right? So if a buyer comes to me looking to buy your house, that's pretty much my job,
Mhm.
But when I'm working with just a buyer, the emotions are out of it because I'm there to get my buyer the best deal
Correct.
humanly possible. And you had mentioned like upgrades. Being in the world of doing flips like I've done them and being a part of endless remodels and then going to see how the new builders operate with how they build up the purchase
Yep.
price with upgrades. I tell all my clients, if you can potentially buy a new construction home and just tell them that you want it unfinished,
Mhm.
that's going to be the best thing in the world for you because I can help you with those finishes after the fact. But
Save a ton.
yeah,
Save a ton.
save a ton of money. But yeah, there's a lot of folks right now that are listing their properties due to the fact of life changes. So it's a move up purchase. The folks that I'm listing their property in West Sac, they're actually moving to Dixon.
Mm.
Their mother lives with them, and it's really close by to like a senior living,
Mhm.
and they're kind of planning for the future.
Mhm.
And then, not to mention, their current home is a 2-story, and they know
Yeah.
that they now need a 1-story.
Yeah.
So, really fired up about that. And there's a couple other listings that are in the works. One that's going to be in Antelope. They're going to be doing a relocation.
Mhm.
You and I are waiting patiently for
Correct.
that due to a job relocation.
Correct.
So we're seeing just like a mixed bag of it all. And I'll say this on the last 2 listings that I've had that are going to be, both of them are going to be closing escrow tomorrow and on Tuesday, just to kind of give you a temperature check of what type of activities out there. One of them, I got approximately 25 showings in 2.5 days.
Mm.
And we're going to be closing escrow $10,000 above list price.
Mm.
And then the other one, I want to say we got 16 to 17 showings in 3 days. And then we're selling that one at list price.
Mm.
I think for a lot of these properties, it's not like what you and I were used to. I don't have to use your personal example, but maybe I will.
Yeah.
The house that you bought
Mhm.
how much above list price did you have to come up?
Ooh, I don't
I have a guess.
I don't remember how much, but the appraisal didn't come in at what we had to do to win it.
Got it. I think maybe you were somewhere in the 30 to 40 realm.
I think you're right. I think
Okay.
you're right.
Because when I bought my property, I had to come up just shy of $70,000. I mean, when the market was flaming hot, it was commonplace that I'm gonna coach my buyers to offer somewhere between $30,000 to $50,000 above list price, remove the appraisal contingency,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
To have a chance of getting their offer accepted.
Yep.
I still am saying that an advantage right now to purchasing in today's market, you're not seeing a lot of that anymore.
You're right.
I'm not having to see a lot of appraisal contingencies being removed.
Nope.
And if we're coming above list price, I've been seeing in some cases 5, 10,
Correct.
maybe 15. But
Right there with you. Same
okay,
on mine.
so you're observing the same stuff.
Yep.
Takeaways, man. I know that things are very optimistic right now, and I'm just loving being busy again.
It feels great. The stress comes back when you have a lot of stuff going. Getting stuff done in efficient ways is at the top of mind when it comes to that. I believe what people are going to see is banks who kept the least amount of people that they could for the longest time start to get busy again. So you're going to see turn time slow down. All that's on the horizon. Again, good problems to have.
Yep. Before we go, there was recently, maybe it was last week, interest rates got better.
Interest rates did. They've been creeping in the right direction. So, I mean, to keep it as simple as possible, you've seen the bloodbath in the stock market. Usually when the stock market is going one way, you start to see some relief on ours, on the rate side of things. So, again, we're creeping back down. Every time that I quote some rates or start talking about interest rates, it's going to be in a range. But the reality is conventional is sitting around that mid sixes, depending on which bank it is, and FHA 599-ish, VA 5875-ish, depending on which bank you go through. But every time I talk about it, I'm talking about no points, no buy down. Obviously, you can get lower than that with some kind of buy down or the seller paying to buy it down.
Love it, man. Well, appreciate you as always. Appreciate everyone for listening, tuning in. Until next time.
We out.